Okay, hi. Well, let's demonetize ourselves. I'm gonna cough a lot because this is weed. Uh-oh. Oh dear. I'm about to go to Vanity. Uh-oh. Hello. I'm fine. Whoa. Ah. Hi. Remember when I talked about Final Fantasy XI on this channel? Let's do that. Let's just do that. Oh, okay. So, January 1st, 2003. To celebrate the new year, they added a bunch of stupid rams into different zones, named the Fortune Ram. Bless you, EWE. Haha, how funny. Mary, Mary, Happy Baba, and Lucky Lamb. Wonderful. Clearly what the world needed. And then January 15th, 2003, Channel BB, Channel 755, is part of Sky Perfect TV. They had a 13-episode miniseries all about Final Fantasy XI, where the devs showed off the game, including how to unlock Summoner, which was, at this time, a job that wasn't available yet. Oh, we're scrolling here. Oh, here we go. Search comments implemented for the first time. Can you believe that? February 5th, 2003. The same update that, surprisingly, added BCNM battlefields for the first time. A star orb for 40 caps was 50 seals, and a moon orb for 60 cap was 99 seals. That's a little redonk, don't you think? Some interesting things happened here as well. For jobs, Red Mage had their enfeebling skill raised to, I believe, oh man, I had snot on my face the whole time. That's great. They had their, I don't care. I'm a human being. Snot comes out of me. I piss, I poop, I sneeze, I cough, I bleed. I'm the same as everybody else. Except when I cry, machine oil comes out. But anyway, Beastmaster had their axe skill raised. Can you believe they used to do less damage? Because they did. And then something highly contentious to me. Paladin had its axe and great axe skills removed. Although there were never actually any axes in the game they could equip, Paladin used to have axe and great axe skill. And I like to think that that's because the people who made this game actually remembered Cecil Harvey, the flagship Paladin for the entire series. Do you know every single axe available in Final Fantasy IV, Cecil can equip as a Paladin? Not a Dark Knight, but as a Paladin. I, for one, would love to see that make a return. I, for one, would love to see Paladin opening fights with a full break, so that everyone else can do their job better, so that one other warrior, for example, he can just open up with a Martial Boost Steel Cyclone. Full break, you just gotta land the thing. More strength doesn't mean you have a better defense or evasion down on it. If a Paladin could open a fight with a boom, start us off with a full break before I switch into my Earth Staff, dude, I think that that would be a very nice tool for Paladin to have. Honestly. And if you wanted to use Paladin on something lower level than you, Rampage would be an exceptionally good weapon skill. Frankly, it would be better than Swift Blade or Vorpal Blade. So, gosh, I wish Paladin still could use axes. so that I could actually be like one of my few video game heroes, Cecil Harvey, the true paladin. Give it back. I'm serious. It wouldn't break anything. It would just add new tools. It would be side grades. Just do it. Please. Please, Kipling. Just do it. Magic added region and refresh, believe it or not. This is after the Shadow Lord fight was put into this freaking game. And people did it without region 1. Red Mage didn't have refresh until now. Holy F. This is also the update that added a level cap to the rank 3 dragon fight of 25, and for the Fei Yin fight, a level cap of 50 was implemented. Before this, there was not a level cap on either of these fights. Expeditionary Force was altered, but nobody cared. Have you ever heard anyone talk about Expeditionary Force? You haven't. You want to know why? Because it's dumb, and nobody cares. There's a reason it's not active on this server. Nobody cares about that crap. This one is one of my favorite changes of all time. You might not even believe this, but Garlage Citadel used to be more of a hellhole than it is now. It used to be worse. Check this out. Area of effect magic spells were given a vertical range limit of 4 meters, either up or down. This was done to prevent the trick wherein adventurers could damage circuit in the basement of Garlage Citadel by casting Ga magic on weaker enemies on the upper floors. Now, just hearing that, you might think, that's a pretty clever exploit, but yeah, that should have gotten patched. That's not a very fair way to fight that monster. Clearly, you're intended to be suspect to its ridiculous poison AoE, and having a bunch of your black mage DDs be upstairs is kind of obviously cheating the game. Because you're safe upstairs. Right? No, you weren't. Circuit's Earth Pounder was also changed in this update to no longer hit innocent lower level players on the top floor of Garlage Citadel. There are tales from back in these dark times. I knew some people that play the Japanese version of this game, and they play with Japanese players, and one of them at one point did actually recount this while we were in a party together, that he was in level 30 something party, and Garlage just I'm gonna go pull a bat or something, or I'm gonna go pull a beetle, and when he went out to pull, he instantaneously took 1600 damage from Circuit's Earth Pounder and died. Because he's level 33. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Just think about that for a little bit. I'll let you stew on how fun that must have been. Sneak now wore off when opening a treasure coffer or a treasure chest. Mimics were added as a new trap for thieves trying to open treasure chests and coffers. Party leaders now had their names displayed in yellow in the search results. That wasn't a thing back then, which obviously would make communication pretty difficult, don't you think? Players could now cycle through their macro pages by holding L2 and R2 and pressing up or down. That did not used to exist as a feature. You know what else didn't used to exist? When fishing, pressing the circle button would now cancel your cast. You couldn't cancel your fishing line before. That was added at this point. Yay. Consumable items such as scrolls of instant re-raise and warp were made available for purchase with conquest points. What a nice addition they gave instant warp scrolls at the same time they added mimics and helicopters flying overhead to get ball cancer. It's nice that it's if we're going to throw these things at you that are going to kill you and potentially take your EXP away, you at least have the option to spend some of your conquest points to instantly warp if you happen to get a mimic. So at least that was fair. But can you guys stop just dumping on Thief all the time? It seems like it might be a trend for you or something. I hope that doesn't continue. What do you think? Please keep flying closer to my house. I am clearly a helicopter pad for the police department. April 15th, 2003, the level cap became 65, causing amazement amongst players. The EXP table for 61 plus was changed to a much harsher climb than pre-60. Y'all, if you haven't seen the original EXP table, look it up. I might be able to find that. I might make a post on the channel or something. It was brutal. It was very brutal. TNLs used to be different. Samurai, Ninja, Dragoon, and Summoner were added as advanced jobs. However, only Summoner could be attained without installing the expansion, although players without Rise of Zilart will be limited to only Carbuncle. An airship route was open to Kazam, and rank 7 and 8 became attainable for each mission's storyline. Nomad Mughals were placed in foreign areas, such as Kazam, Rabaul, and Norg. However, you had to pay a Mog House fee to transfer all your stuff to the Nomad Mughal. Also, Pet TP was added as a tag. How nice. Welcome to both the nerf and buff party. This is one of the more drastic updates in the early era of this game. Some of the changes that were made here have never been reverted. Start with Warrior. Aggressor no longer boosted ranged accuracy. It used to boost ranged accuracy. Can you imagine how nice it must have been to land the acid bolts when Aggressor used to give you plus 25% ranged accuracy, as well as 25% accuracy. After this patch, it was changed to only give plus 25 accuracy, but it still retained a minus 15% evasion debuff. So no more ranged accuracy. Your 25% accuracy bonus is now a flat 25. FU. Aggressor used to be really good, man. Aggressor used to basically be the best job ability in the freaking game. Can you imagine in our 75 era if Aggressor was still a plus 25% accuracy bonus? Oh, man, can you think of the Sky parties with Pentathrust with a 25% accuracy Aggressor? Get on, baby. That would have been so fire. Defender's duration was set to 5 minutes, although this was not announced, and therefore Defender became able to be left up indefinitely. This was actually something that mattered back then because people still regularly did skill-up parties, and if you're the tank in a skill-up party, you keep Defender up. It's just what you do. It's the polite thing to do. Monk. This is a Monk Red Mage party here, for sure. Monk received Chi Blast, and all of people's Goku dreams finally were able to be realized. Kick Attacks was added as a job trait. Oh my gosh, Chi Blast and Kick Attacks. How could this get better? Their Guard and Staff skill was raised, but then they also made Martial Arts have tiers. It used to only be Martial Arts 1. That was all that existed, but as of this update, now Martial Arts scaled up to the 65 level version. Monks suddenly were a damage flurry. White Mage's Enfeebling Magic skill was raised to be on par with that of a Dark Knight, which is still an offense to God. Black Mage's Ancient Magic spells received the effect of lowering resistance to the element they oppose, although I've never seen that utilized once. Their staff skill was also raised. A surprise that was not announced is that Red Mage received Convert. Yeah, just, here you go, here's Convert. Oh, I forgot to tell you about that. Merry Christmas, though. Red Mage just got A+ Enfeebling Magic. It just got Refresh in the previous update. Now it gets Convert. And Fast Cast used to have to proc, and it was a low proc rate. Now Fast Cast was a permanent percentile effect that always functioned. Their Marksmanship skill was removed, which doesn't really matter. Never You ever be on Red Mage and think, oh, I wish I had some acid bolts right now. And while their marksmanship skill was removed, their sword skill was actually raised because they wanted them to melee. Look how that happened. Look what happened with that, you know? And then, if everything I said already wasn't like, oh, Red Mage, you're like that one kid in Harry Potter, you get 5,000 presents for your birthday. Frickin', roast beefy cakes. Red Mage then also got Phalanx and Dispel. They got Convert, Phalanx, Refresh, Dispel, and permanently a functional fast cast. Who do you think the favorite job was this year? I'll give you a hint for what's coming up. It's not Ranger. Some of you know already. Some of you probably already know. Agility bonus was cut from Trick Attack when uses a sub-job to protect the integrity of Thief as a main job. It didn't work. Paladin's throwing skill was removed. Boy, just take our axe, our great axe, our throwing skill away. Although we got Rampart. Yay, I guess. I mean, it's good now because it has the magical stone skin effect, but back then it was just like, oh, everyone has 26 more defense. Woohoo. It's just an extra aggro tool. Rampart as an ability and what Rampart does back then was so just lame. And making it such a high level skill is like, this is like the highest level job ability in the game, and it doesn't even really do anything. So, yeah, I have feelings about Rampart back then anyway. Beastmaster received Call Beast, along with Jug Pets getting added to the game, which, are nice when you have a mob that's almost dead, there's nothing left to charm, and it was nice to just pull out a Jug Pet, because I can't rampage right now, I don't have enough TP, send something else at it. Jug Pets kind of sucked, well, ass in retail. They were not good. They're really good here on Horizon, and I love how strong they are on here. I think Beastmaster is way more fun to play. I love that my house is an airport. And they also received Scythe skill. They never actually had Scythe skill before this. Just, axe, dagger, sword, I think. Really low sword. Might be wrong on that, but they needed a new weapon, so they got Scythe. Ballad was nerfed. F in the chat for all the early G-Horn bards. Your singing and string and wind skill, as I mentioned in the previous update video, it used to actually be able to get to a point where it buffed Ballad. And Ballad 1 was 2 MP a tick, and Ballad 2 was 3 MP a tick. It didn't do anything anymore. Ballads had a hard cap, and skill no longer affects them. March songs, the haste songs, were weakened. The duration of Soul Voice, Bard's 2-hour, was shortened from 5 to 3 minutes, and although not mentioned, Madrigal was changed from a percentile increase to a solid value. So, Warrior's Aggressor, nerfed. Madrigal, nerfed. Neither is no longer a percentile. Dang. Ouch. No one got it worse than Ranger, though. Unlimited shot was added. Along with this, powerful new conquest point ammos were introduced. However, in this same update, they introduced the reset of TP when ammo was swapped, which caused the entire ability and the ammo to be worthless. If you switch into it, you lose your TP. So you couldn't get a bunch of TP, switch into the mega powerful ammo, pop unlimited shot, and then let loose with a mega powerful slug shot or a barrage or anything like that. Swapping ammo killed your TP. So at most, what these new conquest point ammos were was I can use unlimited shot to do one ranged attack, one regular ranged attack with the conquest point ammo. Not even barraging it. I meant to say sidewinder earlier instead of whatever words. But no, they just dumped all over Ranger. Like, this job has never had an identity, and when it finally gets unlimited shot, one of the most quintessential things about the entire job. When it finally gets to that point, you can use the super cool conquest point ammo. Except you can't, because it kills your TP. What the hell? That is so garbage, honestly. A whole bunch of magic was added in this update. Erase was also added. Phalanx and Dispel, all the absorb spells for Dark Knight, including the illustrious Absorb Dex. Absorb TP and Accuracy obviously didn't exist yet. This is the first time Absorb spells were even added. Along with Cure 5, Protect and Protector 4, Teleport Yot Altep, Fire 3, Blizzard 3, Thundaga 2, Stonega 3, and Waterga 3. There's one of the more interesting changes here that I really like this change. I think this is a good change. Okay, well, first of all, enemies had their magic and range attack skill levels increased. This is that function, I believe, is why that one Gigas NM in Dynamis Quiffum, throws buildings at you because of this tweak, because of this adjustment in the way it functioned right there. That effect got multiplied horrendously by that one particular boss's stats. God-type spells received an increase in power. However, damage now decreased depending on the number of enemies in the area of effect. However, their MP cost was also reduced. So, that's how people used to farm back in the day. They actually had, I used to hear about this, I still saw people do it when I was playing, is they would just get a thief to pull every single sheep in, all of Kronstadt Highlands, for example. Thieves just, throwing boomerang at everything, so it's tagging it with TH. And they just pull it over to the Stray Mary spawn, and they had Black Mage just nuke everything down. That was a really effective way to, farm stuff back in the day. But they nerfed that into the way Goth spells, I believe the way they act now is with, the lessened power for the number of enemies that are hit, except for the initial target, which I still believe receives full damage. But in this case, if you just wanted to, magic burst the new Waterga 3 in the Distortion skill chain, is the only skill chain that exists. So if you wanted to magic burst Waterga 3, it now costs less MP and does more freaking damage than Goth spells used to do. So, that's dope. I don't even play Black Mage, but, that concept is exciting, I think. That's awesome. The effect of Gravity now lowered evasion by 5%. It is not a percentile anymore. I believe, I may be wrong on this. I'm probably going to say this wrong. It's evasion minus 10 or minus 15. It's a flat value. It's not a percentile anymore. But prior to this update, it didn't have any effects on evasion. This was when Gravity actually became a functional DPS increasing ability. FYI, for you red mages out there, Gravity lowers mobs' evasion. It increases your party's TP gain and their DPS. Sometimes it's not a bad idea to cast it. Even if it's just an EXP party and it's not being kited, it lowers evasion. Maybe you should use it. Just so you know. Invisible, Sneak, and Deodorize could no longer be overwritten on top of themselves. If they were starting to wear off, you could just recast them. You didn't have to wait for them to wear off or manually cancel them to reapply them. Invisible is the only one, obviously, that's different these days. You can obviously do that now, but back then they made it that the way it worked was that for some reason, if you had Invisible up, I got 30 seconds left on my Invisible, you had to manually cancel Invisible to reapply it. I don't remember when exactly that one in particular got changed, because it doesn't make any sense. The act of casting it should kill the Invisible and then reapply it on top of itself again. But they went out of their way to make sure that you couldn't do that. None of those spells could be just reapplied on top of themselves anymore. Enhancing magic now wore off when switching jobs, which I have heard some people were very upset about, because they like to, if they're, got my freaking white mage high up there. We're gonna go EXP and Quiffum. I'm gonna switch to my white mage, cast re-raise on myself, change to my level 22 job, and then we're gonna walk out to Quiffum, and I have re-raise on. They made it so you can't do that anymore. That's bull crap. If you have leveled White Mage, I genuinely think you should be able to at least do one initial re-raise on yourself and switch jobs and go out and do a thing. I think anyone who has leveled White Mage deserves that benefit. That's my opinion. Drain and Asper were now affected by dark magic. I'm going to say that again, because some of you realize what I actually just said. Drain and Asper were now affected by dark magic. If you've ever looked at this game's code, perhaps you know that Drain and Asper are oddly not affected by intelligence for some reason. And they used to not be affected by dark magic skill either. They used to not have any modifiers. Can you believe that? That is really terrible. These spells used to just be absolute ass. No one used them, but they increased their base power, and it was affected by dark magic skill now. And yes, FYI, it's actually not affected by intelligence. I know a lot of people seem to have some weird opinion about how, oh, well, intelligence increases your D into check. It doesn't. Which is both stupid and sort of a boon, that you don't really need high intelligence to be able to use Asper that well. Which is why maybe you've noticed that even Elven Black Mages or Elven Red Mages using Asper don't seem to have much problem getting a decent amount of MP out of it. It's because your intelligence has nothing to do with it. It's not part of any parity or anything, any check, some bullcrap. It has nothing to do with them. I refused to believe it the first time I heard it until I saw the code. Intelligence has nothing to do with Drain or Asper. Never has, still doesn't. This one is upsetting. The timer for a 2-hour ability would no longer reset upon changing jobs. Y'all mean to tell me y'all people back in the day used to just be like, oh, hey, guess what? I'm going to go 100 fist this thing out in Quiffam Island, and then I'm going to go back in town, change my job off of Monk, change it back to Monk. I'm going to go 100 fist this even match. Okay, I killed it. I'm going to go switch my job. I'm going to switch it back to Monk again. Okay, I'm going to go 100 fist another even match. You used to be able to do that. You used to be able to do that. What a time to be alive. Serious. Items would no longer be consumed if a player moved during their activation. Y'all know that thing where you can lose a scroll when you're paralyzed? Yeah, you used to be able to lose them if you were walking. If you were, for example, you just got a scroll of refresh that just got added to this game, right? And you're so excited. It's like, oh man, and you're just running, and it's like, I'm gonna use this scroll of refresh. I'm gonna learn it right now. And then the scroll goes away, and you don't learn refresh. It ate the scroll and didn't use it. Didn't apply the effect. Enjoy that bullcrap. A bug was fixed where a region would automatically cure sleep status. Normally, poison potions are something you use to avoid sleep, but during this time, auto regen, just recovering any amount of HP, would cancel the sleep, which means that white mages like, y'all just added Kazam, y'all just added the Mandragora camps and all that, and then you made it so that auto regen doesn't cancel sleep anymore. You guys are dicks. That wasn't a bug you fixed. You just didn't want that to be a thing. You called it a bug. I call shenanigans. BCNM monsters and boss level beastmen could now see through invisible, sneak, and deodorize. You know, true sight, true hearing, true scent. People could no longer leisurely take snapshots of rare high-level beastmen leaders by being up in their face. Square Enix, however, forgot to notify players of true sight and true sound, which made Limit Break 3 very difficult. Remember, they just raised the level cap to 65, and they added these true sights, and they didn't tell anyone that they did it. Panic arose among the player base, thinking that Sneak and Invisible were broken, and no one could figure out why they would sometimes just not work. A lot of people died to the Yagado High Priest. The window of time within which players could create a skill chain was changed so that it would be, not so tight because latency. It was announced that weapon skills would no longer create a chain after a level 3 skill chain was made. Certain skill chain elements were changed, such as freeze bite to sunburst and freeze bite to starburst, used to make gravitation, now made compression. However, this is still a dark-based skill chain, and so you would think, oh, cool. Well, Drain and Asper are stronger now, so you can magic burst those, right? Right? Just wait. Also, Pentathrust and Rampage no longer skill chained into themselves. Rampage to Rampage and Pentathrust to Pentathrust no longer created a skill chain. Boo. Orcs level 30 and up received a max HP boost, with transformed Devoy into a ghost town overnight. People used to level in Devoy. That used to be like a leveling spot. Look how many orcs are in there. It is jam-packed with mobs. You can pull forever. Except now all those orcs have 3,000 more hit points. So no one leveled there anymore. Thanks, Square. Dicks. Oh, none of this is that interesting. There used to be regional vendors in Juno for some reason, but Juno can't own anything, so I don't know why. An NPC was added to Norg on May 27th that would allow you to change your wyvern's name. My wyvern is named Luminaire. No, I was going to name it Luminaire. And then I realized that Solaire is an available name, and I chose Solaire instead. A level cap became 70. This surprised players with how easy it was compared to previous Genkai quests. Yeah, y'all made it a little difficult, and then now it's like, trade some kindred seals to some people, I guess. Okay, level caps unlocked. A new region, Tulia, was unlocked. Sky. Artifact armor for Samurai, Ninja, Dragoon, and Summoner was added. And some new HNMs were added to the game, such as King Behemoth. Light-based enemies could now resist Magic Finale. Prelude became single target. And this is one of the craziest ones here. Ni level ninjutsu cast time was shortened from 8 seconds to 1.5. Utsemi Ni used to have an 8-second cast time. 8. All Ni spells were an 8-second cast. Hyotan, Dotan, frickin' Raitan, all your ninja elemental nuke wheel bullcrap. Those were 8 seconds. Hojo Ni, Kurayami Ni, 8 seconds. Shortened to 1.5 from this update. This is when ninja tanks became a thing. Also, the recast timer for Monk's Chakra was shortened from an agonizing and unnecessary 15 minutes to 5. Its potency was not reduced. Added a bunch of magic. Shell and Shellra 4, Region 2, Region 3, Raise 3, Thunder 3, Stone 4, Water 4, Eroga 3, Faraga 3, Knightsman 4, Bewitching Etude, Valor Minuet 4, Logical Etude, Sage Etude, Faux Requiem 6, Swift Etude, Puppets Operetta, and Vital Etude. Crafting skills were raised to level 90. You still couldn't get to 100 at this point. As crazy as that might sound. Cure spells adjusted so that the MP cost and cast time was changed according to the user's healing magic skill, and the enmity generated by Cure 5 was made a set value. I read this and I thought to myself, what? Run that by me again? You said the higher my healing magic skill is, the MP cost of my cure spells was reduced and they casted faster. There's a tag and a note here that says, the much demanded make healing magic have more relation to our curing power was still not properly addressed. You mean to tell me the community complained about this back then? You mean to tell me that the community complained that your healing magic skill gave you conserve MP and fast cast on cure spells, and they said that that's not good enough? Wow. I wish that was still in effect. Although there is another little note here that may make your jaw drop. Healing magic skill no longer needed to be used on undead to get a skill up. You heard that right. Curing players did not increase your healing magic skill. Curing yourself or other players for any amount did not raise your healing magic skill. The only way to get healing magic skill was to cast cures on undead. That is how white mages used to have to level up their healing magic. What a world this used to be, right? I mean, holy crap. What y'all thinking? The recast time for a race was shortened. Stone Skin now absorbed more damage based on the user's mind and enhancing magic skill. Used to not be influenced by either of those. How about that? The MP cost for tier 3 and 4 elemental magic was reduced because it was way too high. A cap was set on how much EXP could be lost when KO'd. Kindred seals were also added in this same update, with which you now needed kindred seals to trade to the NPCs, you know, to do the new Genkai quest. There were not kindred seals in this game before this. Expeditionary Force was altered, and no one cared because it's dumb piece of stupid garbage content that no one cares about. Beastman Seal orb prices were changed. Moon orbs were no longer 99, they were 60 seals. Star orbs were now 40 seals, appropriate for their level. And the Comet orb, which was added just recently, for 50 seals. And the Lachesis and Atropos orbs for 30 seals. Defeated enemies now displayed as gray on the compass, so that when people were trying to pull, they weren't, you know, going after an enemy that was already dead. You know. The Clotho orb was added July 22nd. They forgot to add it, and it was a little delayed. And the corresponding BCNM coming to my parlor was also added. A bug was also fixed where an Elven would have less MP than intended above 61 because screw the giraffes. October 21st. Rank 8 and 9 missions were added along with the actual rank 9 and 10 for each nation. The conclusion to the Rise of Zillard storyline was added, and the Zillardian last boss could unintentionally be silenced, which was later fixed in an emergency maintenance a couple days later. Spoilers, the last boss of Zillard fast casts ancient magic on you, and being able to silence him made him not be able to do any damage. Fun. Players could now enter the Shrine of Ru Avatau and the Celestial Nexus. So, Sky was added to the game already, you know. But it was like just the Garden of Ruhume. The Shrine of Ru Avatau was inaccessible. Going into Tulia wasn't possible until this time. And what they did some fun stuff here. Yes, Summoner received a Clear Mind trait. I don't know why the job with the most MP never had Clear Mind of any kind. Now they did. And Magic added Sleepga and Sleepga 2. Both of these were added at the same time. Until the level 70 freaking cap, you guys. I'm not even kidding. The only AoE crowd control in the game was Horde Lullaby. Sleepga and Sleepga 2 did not exist until this update. Wow. A shortcut to the 10th floor of Delkfutt's tower that could be opened with the Delkfutt's key was added. Magic burst bonuses were increased. BC&M clear times were now displayed. The effect of Clear Mind was strengthened as well as being added to Summoner. The MP cost and strength of Banish spells were adjusted, and in addition, Banish now weakened the special defenses of undead monsters. Stone Skin could no longer override itself, because why should anything be easy for you? Drain and Asper were adjusted to absorb more based on day, weather, and magic bursts. Even if you magic bursted Asper, it didn't do anything to it until this update. Dark magic skill used to not affect it. Intelligence still does not affect it. Day and weather used to not even affect it. Are you playing me, Square? Why did you hate those spells so much? Anyway. The adjustment for TP loss that was implemented back on April 15th was reversed. TP was once again no longer reset when changing one's ammo slot. Unlimited shot and their EX ammo was finally usable, and Rangers reigned. New notorious monsters were added to Zillardian areas, and the number of repop timers for existing items was changed greatly. There were some monsters that used to appear every 60 to 72 hours that now popped every 24. It included things such as Fafnir, Behemoth, and Adamantoise. However, their rare version still remained a lottery spawn from every 3 to 7 days, and stayed that way for years, and that's how it is here on Horizon as well. You don't pop Behemoth and Fafnir and Adamantoise on this server, and you didn't back then either. I prefer it that way. King Behemoth's area of effect attacks can now strike any player within range. Don't get near the King Behemoth, you guys. It's not a play toy. The items obtainable through chocobo digging now varied based on weather, moon phase, day, and time. Elemental ore was now obtainable, although extremely rare. This is when digging became very popular as a gil-earning method. Chocobo skill was initially viewable in the skill window, but after this update was quickly removed. New diggers would continuously follow the goblin diggers around in hopes of obtaining ores. New items could now be grown through gardening. Motions. Animations now accompanied Helm activities. You used to not even swing an axe or a pickaxe or anything like that when you're gathering. There wasn't even an animation for it before. There was just a delay before you could do it again. But now there was an animation that kind of corresponded with, hey, when you're done with the animation, wait like 3/4 of a second and then hit it again. Now you actually had like a visual indicator of when you could actually do it again. So, small thing, but a huge deal. November 4th. Originally, the treat staff would have a much higher rate of activating warp during the Halloween event. This was changed so that it would not activate at all outside of the event time, and this caused a large number of players to complain and was one of the most unpopular changes to date thus far. As of November 11th, players under level 5 no longer had an effect on campaign results when KO'd. Important. December 16th, probably one of the most important updates of this game's life. The level cap was raised to 75. Glorious day. I'm going to say that again so you can write it down. Maybe you get it tattooed on yourself. December 16th, 2003. The glorious day when that which we know as Final Fantasy XI truly began to blossom. Dynamis was originally planned to be released in this update. However, it was delayed for a little bit. New weapon skills obtainable through weapon skill notorious monsters were implemented, and new notorious monsters were added as well. The Four Gods of Tulia, Nidhogg was added as a rare spawn for Fafnir, and much more. Abjurations and cursed items were now introduced into drop pools for the first time. Big surprise with the Sky Gods and all that. Those were the first time anyone really ever saw abjurations were a thing. And then when it's like, yo, hold up, the rare Faf Nidhogg, It dropped this martial body abjuration. What the hell is this? You know, you go around, you be killing some rare stuff, and it's like Aquarian body abjuration. What even is this? What a time of excitement that must have been to figure out, frankly. The storage system was implemented. There was no storage before this. You couldn't store things in your furnishings until the 75 cap, December 16th, 2003. Ridiculous. Job adjustments. Black mages could no longer be interrupted by receiving damage while under the effect of mana font. Dope. Club and staff skills were raised. Samurai, using Meikyo Shisui, now instantaneously capped the player's TP out. It used to not give you TP. Meikyo Shisui used to not max out your TP or give you any TP at all. Why? What? Lame. At least it was finally good. The effect of Astral Flow was extended to 3 minutes, and in addition, Avatar Perpetuation was finally reduced to 0 while under its effect. Club and staff skills were raised. Dark Knight's Axe and Great Axe skills were raised. Beastmaster's Stice skill was raised. Bard staff skill was added, and Ranger's Axe skill was added. So, correction for the previous video where I said, what are Rangers supposed to do? Just swing axes around all the time? No, I guess they just poked things with daggers and swords, because there was no reason to do range attacks back then. Ranger Axe skill added. They had a rank for the first time at 75 cap. Magic added. Flash. Kiraga 4. Re-raise 3. Stun. Ooh. One of the... If there was a... You know, just like... If you had to pick, what's the best spell in the game? I know a lot of people would probably say Refresh. I say it's Stun. Stun is the best spell in the game. Blizzaga 3, Arrow 4, Fire 4, Thundaga 3, Blizzard 4, Thunder 4, Archer's Prelude, Goddess's Hymnus, Uncanny Etude, Warding Round, Chocobo Mazurka, thank you Jesus, Herculean Etude, Maiden's Virili, and Earth Spirit? So... the summoner had every spirit for like this whole year, except for Earth Spirit for some reason. Why? Kiraga 4, Thunder 4, Earth Spirit. I don't think one of these is on the same tier. Crafting skills were raised to 100, and along with the newly added abjurations, cursed equipment could now be made. Expeditionary Force was altered. New areas were added for some reason. Don't know why you would do that. Moongate Pass was added, and Roma became a popular leveling spot. The Great Axe weapon skill Shield Break no longer depended on the enemy's strength, but now lowered evasion by a set value. High-level physical accuracy was raised post-skill level 200. This finally allowed players to hit mobs in an EXP party without Madrigal. You know how people here, they want to have a bard in the party for the sake of meta efficiency? It wasn't for meta efficiency back then. A bard was mandatory. Sushi didn't exist. Accuracy food didn't exist. Scorpion harnesses were 8 million gil. Bards were mandatory back then. It wasn't something that you wanted for the sake of convenience and speed. It was necessary. Until they finally did this change. Here's a bunch of other silly stuff in here, frankly. Movement speed of Behemoth. King Behemoth was raised. Instant warp and re-raise scrolls had their CP costs cut in half to their current costs. Tree cuttings can now be grown into tree saplings, which subsequently would produce elemental ores and ultimately the almighty elemental staves. A lot happened this year, but there is one last thing that is, you know, it's not a whole update. It's just one thing added to the game, but I think it's something that we can all agree that most of us can't even play this game without. December 26th, the Pernicious Presence. I'm just going to read it as it's written here. In various areas, monsters called the Twinkling Tree Ant appeared. This tree had light bulbs in its branches, similar to a Christmas tree. Talking to the nearby Moogles would impose a level cap and allow one to fight the monster. In the Ronfarus, the Gustabergs, and the Sarutas, there was a 20 cap. Jugner, Merifetad Mountains, Pashaw Marshlands, 30 cap. And Bustine Glacier, Eastern Altepa Desert, and Yatunga Jungle were a 50 cap. And it was announced that defeating these trees would grant that world outpost teleportation services. All servers did succeed in attaining the prize. However, there was one server that gets a special mention. I hope it wasn't yours, because you'll feel bad. At first, no matter how much you hit the tree, the HP just wouldn't decrease. Most players considered this a prime opportunity to skill up their weapons and magic. However, to prevent this, Square Enix lowered their HP in the middle of the event. This also caused Square to issue a server message saying that if the NM was not killed, that world would not receive outpost warps. Some worlds were able to dispose of their tree quickly, while others just simply couldn't manage it. A system message, however, finally announced that the event would not end until all servers had won, and the ordeal was finally over after Midgardsormr, the short bus server, was the last to claim victory. Good job, you guys. We're all proud of you. December 29th. As a reward for the success in the Christmas event, all worlds were bestowed with that most precious gift of outpost teleportation services following a short maintenance. And it was permanent. Wow. What a ride. This game used to be a little different, didn't it? Anyway, that's what I got for you for now. You know, drop me a comment. You know, what was like the most shocking thing I mentioned in here to you? What was like the craziest thing that you were like, whoa, the game used to be like that back then? Because, you know, that's kind of what these videos are about. I'm shocked about most of these things, frankly, but, you know, yeah, drop a comment or whatever. Let me know what you think is just like, wow, what the hell were they thinking with that back then? Because, what the hell were they thinking, right? I'm excited for the next update note video, which will probably take me another 6 months to get to, I'm sure. But the next one is actually around the time I started to play the game, so I have a lot of nostalgia for the next set of notes, and I look forward to getting to those. Thanks for hanging out and listening to me ramble about a bunch of stupid crap from old newspapers, you know? Appreciate your time. Hope you have a good one. God bless.